world of handmade business can be tough when trying to monetize what you love. We've got truth bombs and motivation to help you find your way through. Passion to profit, let's start today, 'cause the world needs what you create. Tune in right now, it's your shot to learn how to be a handmade boss.
Want to know what's really happening behind the scenes at Etsy? Today, I'm breaking down Etsy's latest earnings report and what it means for you as a handmade seller. Hey everyone, my name is Steph if you are new here, and I help handmade business owners go from zero to a business that grows and thrives rather than an expensive hobby without burning out or losing the love of what they do. Every single week, 80,000 plus of you tune in across this podcast, Instagram, YouTube, email, and a bunch of other places as well. So we know that what we're doing here, people absolutely love and is really helpful for growing your business. If you sell on Etsy currently, or you're thinking about it, you are going to want to watch/listen to this, because I'm going to be breaking down and unpacking Etsy's Q1 earnings report and what that means for you guys. Do not forget to leave me a comment, hit subscribe, and also leave me a podcast review if you are listening over on the podcast. So I'm going to be going through all of the important bits that you need to know, and also the takeaway for you, what you should know about the thing that I've just gone over. Because as we know, the financial reports can be endless gumph of nothing and BS and fluff, and actually we just need to know exactly what's going on. So let's firstly go over the snapshot, the kind of overarching view of what's going on. Their revenue was 651.2 million, and that was actually up 1% year over year, and they actually beat expectations here. The gross merchandise sales, which is the GMS, was 2.79 billion. That's actually down 6.5% versus last year. Now, they actually had a net loss of 52.1 million, and they've said that this was mostly due to a $101.7 million write-down from selling Reverb. The active buyers was also down by 3.4%, and that was 88.5 million active buyers, which, to be honest with you, 88 million active buyers, I would take that any day. Now, the good news is that 6.5 million buyers actually came back to the platform, actually reactivated their accounts, which is really good news. So the takeaway for you is that even with sales kind of softening overall, Etsy is growing their revenue. Now, this is largely through ads, payment services, and all that kind of stuff. So if you have been on the fence about running Etsy ads, this actually might be a really good time to start testing small, especially if you're finding your sales are down. Now, number two is, let's go through what's driving those numbers. Now, gifts, handmade, and apparel are still strong, especially on places like Depop. Ad revenue is booming, both on Etsy and Depop themselves, and payment operations are still expanding. So a quick tip here is make sure that your listings are ready for ads. This is things like clear photos, SEO, optimized titles, strong descriptions. Basically, Etsy are pushing ads harder, so sellers who basically prepare their listings will benefit most. Now, as you know, my general advice when it comes to Etsy ads, and I did a whole episode on this, is $1 a day per bestseller. That is basically my general advice when it comes to where to put your ad spend. Now, if it's the first time of you running ads, pick your best selling items, maybe 4 to 5, and put $1 a day per item. The reason for this is because if these items are converting well on their own using organic traffic coming through Etsy, then naturally putting money behind them is going to be a really good thing and only drive more traffic to a listing that's actually proven to convert. Now, number 3, let's talk about external factors. And my God, was there a lot of them in Q1. So the first point here is that US tariffs haven't really hit Etsy hard yet. Notice I'm saying yet, mainly because of its local and EU products. Now, depending on where you are, you might be listening to this, watching this thinking, oof, yeah, but they're coming. Yes, they are, but they haven't actually really hit home yet. But new EU tariffs could increase costs later this year. Consumer confidence, you guys have probably noticed this, is shaky. This is making shoppers a lot more price conscious. And I feel like across the board with all the students that I work with, one-to-one through the HBSA, what we are seeing is that if they put a 10 or 20% off sale across their shop, they are seeing those numbers begin to climb again. And I think this really does play into people are a lot more budget conscious and a lot more worried about spending. I do strongly feel that towards the end of this year, that is going to start to decline because things would have settled down, even out, and people will kind of know where they stand. But as of now, Q1 and Q2 of 2025, people are still a little bit worried. They're kind of looking from side to side and looking for clues as to what everyone should be doing right now in regards to their spending. So my advice here is to keep offering a wide range of products at different price points. I'm a massive fan of the Ascension model, which is where you have lower price products, mid-sized products, and high price products. Now, if you're just starting out with that, you've never heard me talk about that before, start with low and mid-price products with the intention that you're going to be driving traffic to your low price products with the intention on the back end of actually upselling them into the mid and high price products. So basically, all this to say is that offering products at different price points is something that is going to help you to even out those slumps right now. I also want you to think of bundling, small little upsells, free shipping, all these things to appeal to cautious buyers. If you were someone who was wanting to buy something right now, what would persuade you to say, yes, now is that time? Okay, number 4, let's talk about enhanced seller support. Etsy is rolling out direct support access for people who sell in the US, UK, Canada, and Australia. And this is available through the shop manager, which overall is a really, really good thing because lots of people have been saying for a while they want direct access to people. So your action for this week is to actually go and find it. Go and find that little option that allows you to have direct access to seller support. Different people are eligible for different things. So it's kind of hard for me to make a sweeping statement as to, yes, you will all have it because it really depends on where you live, what app you're using, etc. But as you know, better support helps you resolve issues faster, and that is something that we've all needed for a little while. Number 5 is shop manager improvements. So they've actually increased the page loading time for orders plus sales and discounts pages, something that I feel like sometimes Etsy would go on a bit of a wonk and it would just take ages to load. They've now fixed that. There's also better message loading in the Etsy seller app and easier navigation for stats and orders. Now, my tip for you here is to just spend 10 minutes this week just exploring the new dashboard and getting to grips with it. After all, a smoother back end means more time to focus on selling, not just watching the page load. Number 6 is the infamous Etsy Insider beta program. Now, this is something where if customers subscribe, it's a little bit like a membership. They get things like free shipping on millions of items, annual gifts from Etsy sellers, and early access to discounts. Now, why you should care about this is that this could drive more loyal buyers and boost visibility for you, but only if you join the program as a seller. Just keep an eye out for this as Etsy rolls it out more widely. It might be a good idea for you to just test it for 3 to 4 months and see if it increases things for you. Okay, now let's summarize all of this into the big picture takeaway here. So here's what I basically want you to remember. Etsy's buyer base is slightly shrinking, but their revenue is actually growing. And what this means is that basically the platform is making more per customer, which is really important because that means that more people are coming back and buying more and more and more things, which, as you know, marketing is no longer really just a numbers game, it's a relationships game. So this is showing that Etsy's really taking that on board. Also, ads and payments are driving growth, okay? So sellers need to sharpen their listings and their marketing and consider trying Etsy ads when things are slow. Etsy is also investing in their seller support and their tools and all that kind of stuff, meaning they need sellers like you to succeed. And I feel like this is really the first time that they've almost acknowledged this and said, okay, yeah, we need to actually invest less in getting more new people in and more on the sellers that we have. And I feel like we've definitely seen this in Q1's numbers. So now let's talk about your homework for this week. So your first thing is to audit your Etsy listings. Can they handle more traffic? Number 2 is check your eligibility for Etsy's new seller support tools, customer service, all those kinds of things. And also explore the dashboard a wee bit as well. And number 3, a quick bonus is I want you to also focus on driving your own traffic. Because as we know, when Etsy makes changes, if you are just relying on Etsy, that's going to have a massive effect across your entire business. Whereas if you are driving your own traffic and using Etsy's traffic as well, that is just a sweet spot, and that is where you definitely want to be. Okay, so I literally recorded this podcast episode 3 days ago, and already there's been a huge update. So I'm just going to film this little snippet for you so we can plop it into this episode because it is a doozy. So the Q score, which we've been talking about quality score for literally years, Etsy have now decided to announce a Q score, which is basically the same thing. It's basically Etsy's newest layer to determine how quality score, your rankings, and all that good stuff are determined. Until now, Etsy's official stance on the algorithm was basically decided by what buyers were most likely to buy. In other words, the algorithm was looking at buyer behavior, not shop owner behavior, not your behavior. That is essentially what's changing. Now, sellers need to earn their place higher up in the search results. And it's based on how delightful your customer service is. And yes, they literally use the word delightful. No pressure, right? So what goes into a good Q score? I've got the breakdown here, and surprise, surprise, Etsy hasn't shared every single tiny detail. But what I can tell you is fast and reliable shipping, consistently positive reviews, accurate product descriptions, excellent customer service or delightful, low return/cancellation rate. Now that last one is a massive deal because we refund, we cancel, sometimes things happen, but this is the first time that they've actively said it's going to affect your Q score. So definitely one to keep an eye on. Basically, if you treat your customers well and your products live up to their expectations, your Q score will go up and you'll be fine. Now, you might be thinking, hang on. Hasn't Etsy said this before? Well, technically, yes and no. Etsy has officially, technically been using quality factors since 2015. But here's the difference. The Q score is now a named, structured part of the algorithm. We now know about it officially. And it's actively being built into Etsy's new AI and personalized shopping tools. So while it's not a total rewrite of what we already know, it's a big evolution. And more importantly, they're actually starting to tell sellers how to improve it. And that's huge. So what does all this mean for you as a seller? So this update is a great thing for people who play by the book and are genuinely good human beings who want to give people the best customer service. Especially those of you who pour love into your packaging, type thoughtful messages, and generally go the extra mile with your customer service. That stuff matters more now. So here's 5 ways to stay ahead with your Q score. Number 1 is to review your listings. Are they accurate? Are people going to have any nasty surprises when the item comes through to their door? Number 2, check your dispatch times. Are you setting realistic expectations? Number 3, respond quickly to messages. Even a short, sharp reply helps. Number 4, follow up with buyers post-purchase to encourage reviews. Step 5, avoid late dispatches and cancellations wherever possible. So guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this quick little look into Etsy's financial report from Q1 of 2025 and what it actually means for you rather than just a bunch of fluff and BS. So then, my loves, thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you all same time next week for the next one. Bye everyone.
Thank you so much for tuning in to How to Be a Handmade Boss. And if you're eager to boost your Etsy sales within just 7 days, then be sure to join my most popular free training at handmadebosses.com/conversion. You can also find the link in the show notes as well. Keep an eye out for our next episode where we'll be continuing our journey towards handmade business success together. And until then, keep crafting and stay inspired because the world really does need those special creations that only you can make.